Hello there, and today that was kind of a weird intro. Hi, I'm Charisse, and we're gonna do a flip through and kind of my opinion on the Divine Animals Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. This is by Rockpool Publishing, and full disclosure, I was sent this deck by the publishing company, but these opinions are completely my own. I've also had this deck for a little while. I wanted to try it out before I gave my impressions on it. And as always, this is my impressions, my personal opinion on this deck. Hi Norman. You may have a different opinion, and honestly, my opinion may change. I mean, we all know that not we all know, but maybe you know, there are decks. Sometimes you get a deck and you love it, and then you kind of like grow out of it, or you just kind of, it doesn't really resonate with you after a while. And then there's some decks that like you really don't resonate with, and then like a couple years later it becomes your favorite deck. So just because somebody likes a deck now doesn't mean that they'll like it forever, and just because somebody doesn't like a deck now doesn't mean that they won't like it forever. Alright, so let's just jump right into it, enough blabbing. So I'll kind of talk about it as I flip through the book and the cards and stuff. Your typical box, which I really like, because I feel like back in the day, like it just used to be those tuck boxes, which those are fine sometimes, but I really like these because that's what I store my cards in. As you can maybe see, there's some of my cards. Anywho, here's the little white book. So some of the things that I do like about this book, it has, typical little white book stuff, kind of like what are these cards, how to use these cards, why was this deck created, and all that good jazz. And where's the artist? That is one thing I wish, because I don't think it's Stacey DeMarco that does the artwork, is it? No, yeah, about the illustrator. Kinga Brichki is a Hungarian artist. I probably totally butchered that person's name. I apologize. But yeah, I wish that they put, she came up with the idea for the deck and stuff and wrote the guidebook, but I wish some decks do put the artist like prominent. Anywho, I digress. So I do like this guidebook. I like that it has a full color picture for the card. I also really like that the cards are numbered. If you've seen any of my other deck videos, I don't like it when decks are not either alphabetized in the book or at least numbered. And this one, it doesn't go in alphabetical order, which is fine, but it is numbered. So it makes it, and the cards are numbered so you can see. So I do like, it has the animal name, and then it also has the Latin name, and then it has a keyword for it. And then it kind of goes into like a little description message about the card. But then this is kind of cool. I do really like this guidebook. So then it has like a story, a story from like mythology or relating to the gorilla. So let's see. This does sound like it's like an African tale. Here with the links, it's a Greek story. So I like that. I think that's pretty cool. So it kind of like opens you up to different stories and myths involving these different animals. And then it's also really nice that they have a description of the animal, like details of this actual animal. So facts about them, which is really kind of cool, I think. So you're getting to learn a little bit about kind of like all areas of the animal. You're getting to learn kind of the oracle card message. You're getting to learn a story, a mythical or historiological, what kind of word was that I was trying to say? Historical or mythological story associated with the animal. And then you also get to learn the magic of the animal, which is pretty cool. So kind of, I guess, if you're going to be working more with not just getting the oracle card message of the animal, but you're kind of wanting more of the spiritual message or spiritual energy surrounding that animal and how you can work with that. Like here it talks about the magic of the gorilla and that they have huge strength, but the power is used with restraint. So this could be, you could work with that magic, you could work with that energy if you are needing to like be strong and stand in your power, but also like not just lash out at everybody, to hold some restraint. And then it also shows the symbology of the animal, which is cool. So if you're wanting to connect again to more of that energy of the animal, you can incorporate that into your altar space or bring one of these symbols with you to meditate on or to just inspire you to connect with that animal's energy. And then this is pretty cool too. It says the status of the animal. So it says if they are endangered, how endangered they are, if they're like, safe. So yeah, I feel like a lot of energy went into this guidebook, which I really, really appreciate. I feel like a lot of research, a lot of energy, it's a really beautiful guidebook. All right, so let's get into the cards now. So here is the backs of the cards. There is, sorry for that glare. Okay, so there is, obviously you can tell they're shiny cards. If you are somebody that likes to read cards upside down or not, you can tell. I mean, obviously it looks different. So I'm not a huge fan of that. I like when cards are like the same all around. Anyway, cardstock, pretty standard, decent cardstock. It's not like super thick, but it's not super thin either. All right, so here's some of the cards. We'll walk through them. So my impression, so you see that it's numbered at the top. It has the keyword, and then it has the animal as well. All right, the artwork is gorgeous. It's beautiful artwork. There's a lot of layers to it, a lot of details, which I really appreciate. I mean, you can kind of get lost if you're somebody who likes to use a visual to meditate, like you like to use the cards to meditate and connect with that energy. So for instance, maybe you're really wanting to connect to that energy of dog. These serve as really good visual meditation prompts for you. You can kind of just get lost. I mean, look at that. Gorgeous. You can just get lost in the artwork, which I think is pretty beautiful. So reading with this deck. This deck for me, sorry, this glare. This deck for me has been, I don't know. It's been a weird one. It's been one of those where I've pulled cards and it's been spot on. And it's been like just the message I need to hear. But then there's other times I've pulled cards and I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm not really connecting to it. And I realized, like a lot, I don't want to say a lot. It seems like more often with Oracle decks than tarot cards. I mean, tarot cards are pretty much made for doing spreads, pulling multiple cards. Of course, you can always just pull one card with tarot as well. You don't always need to pull multiple. But that's what they're good for. They're really good for doing multiple card spreads, even if it's just a 2 or 3 card spread. Oracle decks are kind of funny, I have found. God, isn't this freaking stunning? Like, oh, I love it. It's so beautiful. These cards are gorgeous. But with Oracle decks, it seems like there's some decks where you can do multiple card spreads, like the Oracle of Oddities by Black and the Moon. That's one of my favorite Oracle decks. It's one of my most used Oracle decks. And I can do multiple card spreads with that deck, and I get beautiful readings. I can also just pull one card, and I get beautiful readings. But then there's other Oracle decks where I don't feel like, at least for me personally, they always work out for spreads. And I feel like this deck is one of those for me that serves better as a one card, what do I need clarity on? Or even if you're looking for, like you can tell your spiritual team is trying to give you a message and you need to know, like, what is this message you're trying to give me? You're not picking up the signs that they're laying down kind of thing. This deck is really good for, like, what are you trying to tell me? Or even your higher self or your intuition. What are you trying to tell me? What do I need to work on right now? What do I need to know? It's served really good for just doing a one card pull for some clarity, some inspiration, and that type of thing. But I have not had any luck with this deck with doing more than just one card at a time. Other people, like I said, I mean, it's okay. If you love this deck and you do like 50 cards, well, I don't think there's 50 cards in here, but you do, 20 card spread with this deck, then that's great. For me, it's really good for just kind of a one card pull. How gorgeous. But I mean, seriously, this artwork, oh, I just can't even take it. It's really beautiful. So I like this deck. I like this deck a lot. It's just I haven't, and this is one of those decks that it's really weird. Like it's not all just visual with decks, because visually this deck is stunning. I love, ooh, cat's gonna knock my thing over. I love this deck visually so much, and I really appreciate the effort and the research that went into the guidebook as well. Um, I don't know. Like, I'm not super connected to this deck. And I have a feeling that this will probably be one of those decks that the more I have it, I'm going to connect to it eventually. It's just maybe not the deck for me right at this moment in time. Which I'm kind of bummed because, again, like, I love this deck. I love the keywords. I love the animals that were chosen. And again, this art is stunning. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you have this deck, if you connect to it, or how you like to read with it. Because I'm just curious if I'm the only one. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say about it. So there you go. The Divine Animals Oracle, Rockpool Publishing. I say, I mean, if you're drawn to it, get it. I mean, you never really know how you're going to connect with the deck until you get it and you start doing readings with it. Because you can't, like I said, you can't just go on visual, because visually I'm in love with this deck. And I don't not like this deck by any means. I like this deck. I feel I've connected to other decks more than I have to this one. But who's to say? I don't know. Maybe 6 months from now, a year from now, this is going to be my favorite deck. But anyway, so there is my review, and talk to you later. Bye.